Hey friends, how's it going? Can I get a comms check, please? Make sure we're all good. We want to make sure that we're getting out there global. So yes, signal's okay here. Looks like we've got 115 in the chat right now. Awesome. 5x5. Thanks, Rachel and friends. Sweet as a nut. Right, I'm not being rude. I'm coming straight out of the chat. We've got stuff to talk about now. Now is the time to start stocking up on supplies. Now, someone in the live earlier said, what's going on? Well, the thing is, there is lots of stuff coming down the pipe. I would say early next year. So if you haven't already done so, now is the time to make sure. If you haven't already got a plan of how to leave an urban environment to go somewhere safely, you're probably running out of time if you haven't got that squared away already. If you haven't got survival caches along the route from your hot location where you're leaving from to a secure location, you've probably left it too late. Now, one of the most difficult things that we are facing, which I covered over a year ago now, maybe 2 years ago, was the presence of the Online Safety Bill, which is now the Online Safety Act. Basically allows government aides and officials to snoop into private, secure, encrypted comm messages. So if you've got a prepper network and you're communicating online, where to meet up, where to go, who's got what, etc., times, dates, that sort of stuff now has been compromised. So we're going to need to think of a different way to communicate with our network without being snooped, spied on, etc. It's private and it is secure, because at the end of the day, when it all goes down, we need to make sure we've got an advantage. And the advantage is the element of surprise. No one knows what we're doing. No one can stop us, infiltrate us, etc. Okay. Oh no, it all sounds crazy. Of course it does. But when you just look at how the world is going now, there's so much stuff out there which is all by design to blindside us in the prepping community. We've got all of that BS from that Free AI Atlas. No, it's not aliens. Okay. All of this stuff gone on. Is there going to be a war in Ukraine, Russia? Forget about it. Don't worry about it. It's not going to happen. All of these things are set to distract us from the way I see things. Now, I don't know everything and I could be wrong, but what I'm looking at, which is going to directly affect the majority of people here in the UK, no bullshit, is this digital ID. Those things are imperative that we keep our fingers on the pulse. They are the things that are going to impact us and affect us more than rumors of war and a frigging rock, which is going to wipe the planet out, which could be a spaceship. Total BS. No one can prove anything. In fact, the only evidence that is coming out is from NASA. And if you believe NASA, fine. Do what you want with that one. Okay, no one can prove anything. So all I'm trying to say is there's lots of distractions out there, and I think now is the time to, if you're already prepping, now is a good time to go over your stock. Okay, I've done it recently and I was surprised to see a few tins have fallen down the back and they've been dented. I'm not taking any risk. I've got rid of them. Okay, they're a couple of years out of date anyway. You have to be careful. All right. What I say to people who have got tins of food that are out of date and you're not sure whether they're going to be good or not, the only way to do it is to open it up and use your 5 senses. Simple as that. So first of all, you can tip the contents out into a saucepan if it needs reheating, of course, and look at it. Then smell it. Okay. And if it's something that doesn't look right, you can feel it. Is it all gone soft? Should it be like that? Okay. We need to use our own minds. Okay. If you want to look at a best before date and then throw it away a day later, there's potential massive losses of quality food right there, right now. Now, also, I was having a look online and I was absolutely shocked to find quite a lot of bullshit out there about how long food actually lasts for. Now, some of the things I remember seeing, dried milk powder should last anything up to 20 years. I say that's bullshit. Why do I say that's bullshit? Because I've been into preparedness, doing it for real, checking things myself, because I don't trust the internet and all that crap out there. There's a lot of lies out there, and there's a lot of new prepping channels, and it's obvious to me that they haven't spent the time checking it for themselves. They're taking it from AI information, and I call AI artificial idiot. Okay, it's not our friend. It's making our lives a nightmare, and it's going to screw us over. So, milk powder, dried, 20 years. Well, let me tell you this. I've had milk powder on and off for years. And if you leave milk powder more than between 6 months and 1 year past its best before date, open it up. I guarantee you it will smell of cheese. Now, do you really be wanting to put milk powder with water, mix it all up when it's out of date and pour it into your tea, knowing full well that it reeks of cheese liquid? Throw it away. Don't be stupid, and do not trust some of these new prepping channels on different social media networks, and lots of this AI stuff. It's fake, it's bullshit. Take it from old school preppers like me and other channels who've been doing this for years, like Alaska Prepper, Rudy, right? We've walked the talk, we've done this stuff, we know what's real. And there's so much stuff out there which is fake. You've got to be careful, all right? So what about rewind 5 years? Okay, and the reason I'm doing this because I feel it's really, really important. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share on the screen now, if I can find it. Lockdown 2020. Let me just make sure that this is being shared. Sweet, it is. Okay, it's cool. Look at this. This article is more than 5 years old. I'm glad that you do this because people absolutely fought for it. This was Sunday, the 21st of June, 2020. 2020 was a mad year. So we're going to go through this article and look at this bit that I've highlighted. This actually happened, right? Shelves would clear early in the day and stay that way. Sainsbury's raw pasta sales rose by 240% and those of UHT milk by 110%. Tesco recorded a doubling in sale of both tin tomatoes and beans. We are seeing over multiple days that we would expect to see over one peak day in the run up to Christmas. But we have 3 to 6 months to prepare for Christmas. The thing is, all of this stuff absolutely happened in 2020. For real. See it as a training exercise, because mark my words, there will be another one of these illnesses that are put amongst us. Okay, most of us are aware what happened in 2019, Event 201. Who has heard of that same sort of program? Guess what? It was sponsored by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation through the Johns Hopkins Network over in America. Yes, 2022, the contagion. Yes, they've already theorized and done that. So it's just a matter of time before we have another 2020. Now, I am not going to sit here and say when that's going to be, okay? But the weird thing is, I need to spend a bit more time looking into this. And if I get some time, I will. Now, personally, I've noticed quite a big rise in flu-like viruses over the last 6 weeks, okay? More than average. Now, what we need to do is we need to go back and look at the data back in 2019, around the same time, and see if it was an above average score for the winter flu season. If it does, it could be possible that March, April next year, we could have another repeat of what happened in 2020. I'm not saying it will. I'm just saying we need to make sure and look at the statistics. Look if we can see patterns in all of these, and see what's going on with other things. Because we all know the powers that be that make all of this absolutely make a fortune for all sorts of companies that have already been in place to manage these situations. There's rumors saying that it's going to be 10 times worse than what it was in 2020. I'm of a personal belief. Now, we've all got the right to our opinions, and I could be wrong. I'm saying what happened in 2020 was nothing like what they was making it out to be on the mainstream press. Not a chance. Not a chance. So what do we remember? Now, I'm going to go into the chat now very quickly because I'm keen to see what you guys remember from 2020. Okay, so who remembers things being rationed. I certainly remember eggs and milk, going to get some, and you was only allowed half a dozen eggs per customer per day. And what was it, 4 pints of milk per person per day, something like that. And of course, toilet roll went crazy. What else do you remember about 2020? What foods and important essentials was hard to get? What foods were rationed? Indeed, this was in the UK. If you're outside the UK, what did you notice in your country that was rationed and what was literally thrown off the shelves? And every time we went there, it was gone. So we're looking at, yeah, toilet paper, absolutely. Yeah, toilet roll, toilet roll. I saw an actual fight over toilet roll. Yeah, I actually did in real life in a supermarket. Wow, unbelievable. Yeah, Rachel. Yep, restrictions on how long you're allowed to go for a walk. Yeah, we just paid no attention to that. Pasta and flour. Yes, that's true. Ah, yes, I remember dog food for sure. I didn't have a pet at the time, but I have friends, Ninja Man and others, who had dogs, and they were saying it's a nightmare. The price of pet food was going crazy as well, and the availability. Flour, indeed, was in short supply. So we can learn from some of these items, which for some strange reason caught us out. I didn't expect to be a run on dog food. I really didn't, but it happened. So pita bread. Yeah, so you're basically looking at perishables. Pasta, Ash, absolutely. So I'm coming out of the chat now, if I know how to do it. Where is it? Sorry about that. So yeah, we have to be aware of the items that flew off the shelves and indeed that were hard to get as well. Incidentally, if you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing. It's really cool. And if I can just show you what's happened, it's blown my mind, because I think there's a lot of people out there who are sick and tired of some of these fake videos with AI and some of these new channels that haven't got the experience. So to show you guys how it's been lately is crazy. Look at this. Within 3 weeks, 1.4 million views. Insane. And nearly 2,000 new subscribers have joined my YouTube channel. So that's awesome. Guys, thank you so much for coming over and subscribing. And it really, really helps the channel if you give it a thumbs up. If you can do that right now, you've only got to do it once. Come out, click, done. It really helps, because the more people we get into the live chats, the better. We can all talk amongst ourselves. We can all learn from each other. We can all share hints and tips, information and skills right here, right now in the chat. And by hitting the thumbs up, it ensures more people get to see this right now, so you guys can take part in it. So I would want to advise personally, from my experience, that one of the most important things we should have in our prepper supply is food. Okay, when you think about it, food, without food, we're pretty much done. Okay, and I know there's people out there saying, yeah, but you can go without X, Y, and Z days without food. Have you tried it? Exactly, I have. So when I do my investigations into preparedness, I actually really try things. I do test on my kit. I absolutely do. I tested myself. I went 4 days without eating one single thing. Absolutely, I did. I wanted to know how I would cope, how I would fare without any food. And let me tell you this, people, okay? Day 3 and 4 was very difficult. And that was in the comfort of my own home. Now, fast forward, and you're out in the wilds, in the hills, in the mountains, in the woods, on the coast, wherever it is, and you're not in a building. You're sleeping rough, you've got your bug out bag, you've got your shelter, etc. You still got to go and get water. You still got to purify it. You still got to get firewood to keep warm. And let me tell you this, when you've had no food and you're knackered, you're going to start making mistakes. So the increased risk of injury all of a sudden becomes very, very real, which is absolutely going to limit your chances of survival. So food, I absolutely put right up there. Now, if we are running out of time, like lots of people seem to be fear porning it out there, to be honest, it's impossible to say. I wouldn't want to say, because no one really knows when all of this stuff is going to come down the pipe. So what are we talking about now? We're talking about the internet all of a sudden going down. Now, already we've seen Down Detector do some reports within the last 5 days, I think it was, something like that. All of the major telecommunication companies within the UK went down all at exactly the same time. Wow, what are the odds? Also, if you look at my YouTube page, there's a post that I put up there recently showing even more services, including HMRC. Yes, all sorts of other companies, apps, all went down at exactly the same time. So that is about 40 different companies, complete loss of service, all at exactly the same time in 2 separate incidences recently. So there's all sorts of reasons why that could be happening. Some people with their head up their ass could say it's just a coincidence. Bullshit. I think all of those are way too strong to be coincidences. Not a chance. Absolutely happening. So you could theorize, based upon what's going on there, is they are testing how effective it would be to turn off services and turn them on again, monitor the response, the reaction times from us, the public, and how we reply. It's exactly what it done in 2020. In my opinion, the whole thing was a big training exercise, gathering data from different countries, because every country adopted different policy of how to manage their populations during the lockdown in 2020. A massive data gathering exercise, 100%. So what have we seen recently? The telecoms and all of those other companies all went down at exactly the same time. We've also heard about our friend in the West saying what could be more frightening than a global cyber attack. Now, lots of people have been talking about, can you imagine it? Just think for a second, how many things in this day and age require an internet connection for it to work? Every high street shop, every supermarket, all of it requires the internet for it to run. So what happens if that internet goes down? All of a sudden, you can't buy anything in that supermarket. You might even be locked in with the doors are all connected to the internet. Yeah, all of the cameras would stop working. So you're going to have a lot of people trapped in a supermarket. They can't get out. They can't pay for anything. Anxiety is going to be crazy. You could absolutely get a few nutcases in there who think it's going to be great to run around and help themselves, smash the place up, do what they want, and maybe try and break out of there. All because all of the security systems failed because the internet went down. It's crazy. Who remembered what happened to Marks and Spencer's when they had a cyber attack? All of their card readers failed. Yes, people spent hours in there filling up their shopping trolleys and they couldn't pay. They had to leave it there, go outside the store, try and find the cash point that was working, get enough money to pay for their expensive stuff, and come back and pay cash. That absolutely happens. I'm not making this up. You can check back in history and you can see. Now, one of the things which we are talking about now, considering we've just talked about 2020, we need to bring things up to speed. So what are we talking about? Look at this. I've highlighted it. Okay. 7 days ago, last week, this article dropped via CHAS. Now look at this. A stricter emissions rules in supply chain machinery use. New circular economy rules are reshaping supply chain policies. Modern slavery rules and reporting in supply chains. Anti-bribery rules that should be built into your supply chain policy. Health and safety rules for supply chain compliance. So we're talking about changes in the global supply chain. Basically, lots of red tape, lots of BS. Look at all of the stuff that's going on there. It's crazy. And also, we are absolutely going to be seeing the introduction of carbon and the net zero policies from Agenda 2030 via the UN. That's absolutely going to have big impacts in our supply chains. 100%, absolutely. So we really should be stocking up now. Let me just try and find this article. This is quite interesting. So I know lots of my subscribers, including myself, are over 50. I don't feel it, but there we go. So we're talking about Saga. This is an interesting article which dropped quite recently as well. Okay. Again, this was 5 days ago. You can see the date there. And we scroll down and look at this. According to the ONS, that's the Office of National Statistics, items with big price rises over the last year include beef and veal, 24.9%, butter, 18.9%, chocolate, coffee, and whole milk. All have gone up massively. Now, the thing is, we've just read there in a report by the national government think tank of the Office of National Statistics, the ONS. And they were saying that beef has gone up 24.9%. Well, the weird thing was, I'm very friendly with a local butcher of mine in a local village. And the last time I went and got some meat from him, and I was just saying to him, the prices of beef are crazy. And he said, yeah, did you know this? In 12 months, beef has gone up 100%. And he's a butcher. He knows what he's talking about. This is no BS, and they are not putting this information out in the mainstream. I'm pretty sure you guys have been shopping and you've seen the price of beef mince, steaks, etc. It's absolutely mind-blowing. And when you look at how controlled and how devious this manipulation club who are pulling all of the chains, who remembers back in 2015 up to 2020, there was a massive push to make it cool for veganism. Lots of people tried it. Whether they liked it, hate it, got on with it, it's irrelevant. The fact is that that trend was heavily pushed all across global markets, trying to encourage people into veganism to save the planet, etc. It's not sustainable. It's cruel on animals and all that sort of stuff. That was massively pushed. So what have we seen in recent years? A massive push for the carnivore diet. Yes, the carnivore diet. Just eat meat and nothing else. Avoid carbs. But guess what? They got everyone hooked into that because it was cool. It was trendy. I want to follow the sheep and do the carnivore diet. And guess what they've done? They whacked the prices up 100%. Wow. What does that remind you of? What about getting everyone addicted to sugar since the 70s? My generation. Everyone's addicted to sugar. They waited for so many people to be hooked on sugar. And guess what? They taxed it. Yeah. Can you see a little problem which is brewing and repeating all the time? What about the landslide success of that company called Greggs? Personally, I don't eat that crap. It's ridiculous. I don't even think it's real. Anyway, that's my own experience, my own impression. So that company went crazy through the roof. It's all over 1 billion pasties, etc. So when that was all happening, guess what they've done? They introduced a pasty tax. Can you see where this is going? It's basically government policy is mirroring the exact traits of a drug dealer. Yeah, absolutely. Get everyone hooked on something, cheap prices, great. Now everyone's hooked properly, they put the prices up. It's exactly what government are doing with taxation and everything else. So if you really believe the government that beef has gone up 24%, you know as well as I do, that's bullshit. It's complete BS. 100% BS. So that's the ONS. Do you want to see a cross-reference now? This is quite interesting. It made me laugh. It's from our learned friends, the BBC. So if you don't know what the BBC is, if you're outside of the UK, it stands for the British Bullshit Corporation. So the British Bullshit Corporation have published key truthful figures. Look at this. Beef in particular has gone up about 20% in the last 12 months. A big chunk of that has happened in the last 6 months. So we've got the ONS saying it's just under 25. We've got the BBC saying it's 20. And I've got a real genuine butcher who knows his shit saying it's gone up 100%. So is it a good idea to start stocking up on food? I think it is. Now, one thing that made me laugh, I don't know if you know this, I know some of you will. We're talking Christmas, right? Now, I've got something to show you. This blew my mind. This absolutely blew my mind. Excuse me. So look at this. Yeah, there we go. We're working. Look at this. If you want to get a turkey in the UK, a half decent turkey, it's not going to be the best one. It's going to be nice. It's not Fortnum and Masons. It's not Harrods. It's not Waitrose. It's M&F's. It's quite good. It's not the best. £150 for a turkey which serves 8 people. 8 people. Now the thing is, who the hell decides that that is going to serve 8 people? Not a chance. It will save 8 people. It will serve 8 people if you're in the borrowers, perhaps. It's crazy. Unbelievable. So yes, this is the genuine price. £150 for one turkey. Wow. Who the hell is going to pay that? Insane. So let me tell you something. I just done this just for a laugh to see. I actually almost put an order in for 20 of these turkeys for Christmas. No, I'm skint. I'm not going to really do it. I just want to show you. This is what came back. Look at this. 20 turkeys, £150 each. £3,000 for 20 turkeys. Can you actually believe that? £3,000. That is twice the value of my car. And it's 20 turkeys. Wow. And they want you to pay a bullseye up front. How disgusting and disturbing is that? It's mad. It's absolute madness. Now, one thing I love about doing these truth drops in these live streams is the hope is that people come back from a year's ahead or 2 years ahead, come back, and they just watch these videos and they say, wow, look at that. Do you remember 2025 when turkeys were only £150? Yeah. This stuff is going to go through the roof. If you think the prices of food is expensive now, wow, let me tell you this. The food right now is the cheapest it's going to be for the next 5 or 10 years. And it's probably going to be forever. I can't see the prices coming down. So if you haven't got much food, you're thinking about storing some for all sorts of reasons. Now, for me, I'm a real life prepper. I'm not a plastic prepper. Okay. I really live and practice these rules. I've been out of work twice now. And let me tell you this, by having a good stock of food already in my house, saved my ass. Absolutely saved my ass. I didn't have to go out and buy food until I got some money in from somewhere else. Okay. So having food in is not all about worrying about zombies coming around. There won't be no zombies. There's no freaking alien attacks coming. All right. Please get that out of your head. It's nonsensical. It's distracting you. What you should be doing is thinking real. What happens when there's not much food in your cupboard? You go around to the shop if there's a lockdown and the shelves are empty. What are you going to do? Make sure you've got some sort of food, okay? It's really, really interesting. Now, what I'm going to do is I've got a nice long list if some of you guys want some information about what sort of food to get, okay? Let me just have a look at this. I'm not going to share that. It's American. I don't think it's correct. Bouillon don't store that long. This was a good point, though. If you guys don't know, one of the most calorifically dense foods that you can get in a small space is peanut butter. Okay. Now, let me see what it says here and show you guys. Look at this. Peanut butter lasts between 6 and 9 months in the pantry. But if you open it, 2 to 3 months, you should put it in the fridge. So basically, the best natural peanut butter. Now, let me know if you guys can find natural peanut butter. I got some stuff from Aldi recently, and it's disgusting. It's basically oil with little chunks of peanuts in there. It doesn't even look like peanut butter. It's too dark. What the hell is going on with peanut butter? Let me know if you notice the changes in the peanut butter you remember as a kid. to the crap you buy now. Unopened, 12 months, if refrigerated. So what we're looking at here online is the maximum peanut butter will last, probably past its sell-by date, is 1 year. Now, it's strange because I've had peanut butter and it's lasted longer than that. So this is why it's interesting to do your research, work it out for yourself, because there's so much fake prepper channels out there from all over the world, okay, not just here in the UK, and they're giving information out there which they have sourced from AI, believing AI is real. Now, AI is artificial. People like myself and other people do this for real, know the truth of what actually happens. So the only way I'm guessing to say you're really going to know is if you try it yourself. I'm saying I've tried it. It's been doing it for 15 years. I know the truth about food. So if you want advice, I can absolutely help you out. But it's not just about food. Just really quickly, here's the very latest in silver. Look at that. This is just 1 week. Look at that. 51. 1 month. There's that cup that David was talking about on my channel the other day. Insane. So if you haven't got silver already, I'll tell you what, it's going to be going up. You might as well get some now, because that price ain't going to come down. It's just going to go up from now on. That's my own opinion. I could be right, I could be wrong. Other things as well of point to note. Now, who remembers in 2022 when we had the fuel crisis? Who remembers seeing diesel going up to over £1 for 1 litre? Sorry, £2 a litre, sorry. When it went over £1, it was 2019. Yeah, so in 6 years, no, less than that, 3 years, sorry, it went from £1 to £2, 100% increase. Insane. And that literally kiboshed so many businesses, especially taxi drivers, etc. It was nuts. So we're talking fuel very briefly. Now, I need to show you this because the temperature is dropping and lots of people, especially preppers who are off-grid and they're in caravans, that maybe they're building something on their property, they're going to be using something like this, which is Calagas, okay? One of my go-tos, they're awesome. 15 kilos is quite manageable for an average adult to move around. You don't want to be stuck with those great big orange tanks where they're so heavy and crazy. But look at the prices. If you wanted to buy a new bottle filled up, it is now at £106.49. And if you want it refilled, £56.50. I remember last year doing this, £38. So that's gone up nearly £20 in 12 months. So if you haven't already got Calagas bottles like this, filled up, safely stored away from your property, if you haven't done it, it's going to get very expensive. Okay. And like I say, we're only in autumn right now. Winter doesn't start to the end of December. It's autumn and it's already feeling cold. Okay. Whilst we're on the subject of fuel, this is the current price of coal out here in Wales. Wales supply most of the UK with coal, but look at this. 1 ton of large nuts, look at that, 648 quid. And that's got to include delivery on top. Whether there's going to be tax on top of that, I don't know. But yeah, 40 times 25 key sacks of anthracite. So this anthracite, right, this is pure natural coal. It's not being messed about with like some of that smokeless stuff. There is no added chemicals or anything in here. This is just pure natural coal. Okay. Now, there is a method of how to get coal to burn efficiently, depending on what device you're using to heat your home or your caravan, whatever it is that you've got. There is a knack. So if you guys use coal in your multi-fuel burner, whether you're on a houseboat, whether you're in a caravan, a van lifer, or whether you're in a cottage like myself, if you burn coal, let us know what hints and tips you can share about to get the best, most efficiency out of coal. How do you do it? Do you get a big bed of wood coals, then put some coal on top? open the vents up and get it really hot, slow it down and leave it. That's what I do. How do you guys do it? Be interested to see. And indeed, your answer or your reply is going to help not just me, but others too. But one of the things which is really pissing people off is shrinkflation. Now, listen, stay tuned for about another 10 minutes. I'm going to give you a big, long list of items which you should absolutely consider getting as soon as possible before the prices go up, before the digital ID, which stops you getting certain things because of carbon allowances, because you might have said something in a comment online which goes against the government's narrative. They can stop you purchasing certain things. You need to get these items, not all of them, as many as you can, or things that you are drawn towards. Okay, these are just advice items. Do what you want. But these items, because I've been doing this for 15 years, I know what food works and what food doesn't to store. There's some nuggets of gold in there. So stay tuned for about 10 minutes and we're going to show you that. So in the meantime, we got to cover this because this is true. This is absolutely happening. Look at this. Less for more. This is from the Drum only recently. Shrinkflation will persist and escalate. Rather than overt hikes, supermarkets and brands will quietly reduce pack sizes, demanding lower prices from suppliers, while asking for the same price from consumers. Your box of cornflakes is 50 grams lighter than it was last year, but it's the same price. What about PG Tips? You get 40 bags less than you did 12 months ago, but the price is exactly the same. Now, let me know in the live chat, and indeed, if you're watching this on a replay, let me know, and because I go through the comments, and let the other guys know who are reading the comments, what examples you've seen of shrinkflation here in the UK since 2020. There's going to be some things I'm going to share with you, which is a little bit odd. Okay, I kid you not. Let me just see if I can find it. Right, okay. We're going to close this down. So whilst you're scratching your head thinking about what things have I been buying and they're smaller than they used to be, or they're lighter than they used to be, but the prices are still roughly the same, or maybe even got more expensive. Think of it. What about Mars bar, for example? That was smaller than it was in 2019, and it was smaller then. So let me know what you've been seeing. Put as many different items, if you're in the UK, of what you've noticed, the shrinkflation things. So whilst you're doing that, I'm going to show up on the screen what was happening even before then. I think you guys are going to be shocked. This hasn't been going on for a little while. This has been going on for a son of a bitch long time. Are you ready for this? We've got some truth drops right now. Look at this. This is in 2014. Look. 28% less weight for the same price in Snickers. These used to be called marathon bars. They've copied the American and called it Snickers. What the hell is a Snicker? We've always called it marathon. I've always called it a marathon. Anyway, nearly 30% less weight between 2014 and 2018. A Toblerone, 25% less weight. You're getting ripped off. Who likes Twix? Awesome. 20% less in these two, between these two dates. Jaffa cakes, the same. Every single thing, you'll get ripped off. Hobnobs. Oh, I love hobnobs. 18% less for the same frigging price. And it just goes on and on and on. We are all being ripped off big time. I don't know who come up with the idea of fun size. When you get a smaller size chocolate, how the hell is that fun? That's bullshit. That's not funny. I want a chocolate bar, not a joke. Look at that. 13% less. And it just goes on. Insane. Bucking the trend. Jaffa cakes actually went up in weight. Maybe they made the plastic and the cardboard thicker to weigh more. I'm not buying it. But nonetheless, these are just some examples of how massive In just 4 years, these percentages dropped from the weight of the food we purchased for the same price. So what have you guys noticed? I have. I'm not blind. I know what's going on. I'm not stupid. It's crazy. And this is a little bit more recent, but still quite a while ago. Between 2015 and 2017. Look at the reduction in weight. Bread and cereals. Meat. The thing is, what they're doing with meat, they're injecting water, all sorts of chemicals in there to make it bigger and heavier. So when you cook meat, you can see you're not frying it or roasting it, you're broiling it, because the amount of water in it that's coming out, water and oil mixes, it splats, it ruins your oven, it coats everything everywhere. Meat never used to have water in it. It should be friggin' illegal, in my opinion. See, all of these things, everything, they are shrinking the amount. Unbelievable. It's true. Absolutely no BS there. And here's one more example to show you. Before we get into the food items, so stay tuned. We've got that coming in literally 1 minute, okay? Look at this. Unbelievable. Digestive biscuits, a 28% size decrease since 2014. Butter shrinking by 20%, but the price went up since 2014. Now, who has noticed the size of a block of butter gets smaller over the years? I'd have, and I couldn't believe it, and the price has gone up. Even Bisto gravy granules, how much did that go up since 2020? Yeah, you're getting less. The same size tub, and also sometimes they make the weights very, very small and hard to find, so you can't see them quickly. It's all by design. They want your money. You get home, you open it up, and you feel robbed, ripped off. It's a crime. It's an absolute crime. Yogurts and spreads. Look at that. 100 grams missing. Another thing I've noticed, certain toilet paper and toilet tissues, they're getting thinner. What about kitchen rolls? I think they're getting thinner as well. Even the expensive brands are getting thinner. Is it just me, or is anyone else noticing this stuff? Let me just go into the live chat and see what's going on. Let's click to the latest. John Platt. Sorry about that, John. It should give it to the person directly underneath you, which would be Rachel. She'd appreciate that. So, as promised, these are my tips, my advice of food to make sure that you've got. And if you've got some, consider getting some more, okay? Rice. Now, the rice I like to use is basmati white rice. Let me just come away from the chat because it's really confusing seeing all of that move. Why white rice? Some people say brown rice or whole grain rice is better for you. I don't think it is. I think there's so much gluten and other things within brown rice for the digestive system and the stomach acid to break down. I don't think it's a good thing. I could be wrong. It's just my opinion. I don't know everything. And also, brown rice takes a lot longer to cook, a lot more energy. So my tip is basmati rice. Soak it in water as well. Okay, why? That gets lots of the gluten and the starch out, so you're not going to get so much acid indigestion effects, and also it swells up and you get more weight for your rice. Okay, so soak your rice a minimum of an hour all day, tip it away, put some boiled kettle water just above it, and all you've got to do is you've got to bring it to the boil, simmer it for 7 minutes with the lid on, take it off the heat, leave it for 10 minutes, it absorbs, you get way loads of rice. And that, for my experimentation through my preparedness logic, is the most efficient way to cook the most amount of rice with the least amount of water, the least amount of energy, and the maximum amount of rice back. Basmati rice, people, don't get long grain, don't get brown, get basmati. You get way more bang for your buck if you know how to use it. Spaghetti. Now, the reason I choose spaghetti is because it's so much easier to stack and to store. Okay, what I do is I just trim the top of the pack of spaghetti off, open it, keep it all inside, and I vacuum seal it. Why do I do that? Because leaving the bag on but cutting it open, allowing the air to be sucked out of it so you can shrink it right down with your outer vacuum seal pack, is you get a layer of protection. So the spaghetti doesn't puncture the bag. My advice is stock up on basmati rice and spaghetti. Don't get pasta, which is in shapes, because let me tell you this, when you vacuum seal it, it's going to cut the bag and it's going to let air in, and it could spoil, it could let all sorts of stuff get in there. Okay. And furthermore, if you are going to be storing food or stockpiling food or stocking up on food, always make sure that you store it in a cool, dry place. Nothing damp, nothing smelly, nothing sunny, nothing warm or hot. Food will not do well in environments like that. A long time ago, we didn't have fridges. We had what's called larders, which would be usually a cupboard on an outside, on an inside of a house, but on an outside wall where it's always cold. Okay, maybe north facing. All right, makes sense. So in that cupboard was always colder than anywhere in the house. They didn't have central heating back in them days. People were grown-ups back then. Okay, I've got no heating on at all. I'm wearing a wool jumper. Okay, you save a lot more money than putting the heating on, and you can't store your food properly. Energy costs are crazy anyway. Who can afford to heat their homes anyway? Another thing is milk powder. Now, in my personal experience, due to the experimentations that I've done, if you buy milk powder, leave it all sealed up. Okay, don't touch it. Keep it in a cool, dry place. Make sure that you keep up to speed on the dates. When it says use by, not the best before, the use by date, you've got 6 months, maybe a year if you really, really want to risk it. I wouldn't. I would consume that within 6 months. Just use it. Because from my experience, what I found out, if you store milk powder for more than 1 year past its use by date, it will go to cheese. It will be cheese powder. And who wants to drink liquid cheese? Not me. You can if you want. There's people out there saying you can store dried milk powder for more than a year past the sell by date. Please don't listen to these people. They're giving you false information. And if you don't believe me, go and try it for yourself and let me know what happened. I'll guarantee you, after 1 year or 6 months, you open it up, you're going to go, wow, it stinks. Yes. Don't believe everything you see from this AI stuff. Don't forget, AI stands for artificial idiot. Don't trust it. Please. UHT milk, absolutely get that. Same thing, cool, dark place, and use it within its time. You don't want to mess around with anything dairy. That's another thing. So if you're storing cream of mushroom soup, cream of chicken soup, okay, you won't want to give it more than 1 year after you have to use it by. Yeah, if you don't believe me, go and try it. If you've got a tin of chicken soup that's quite out of date and you open it, yeah, it may look like a great big lump of rubber. You heat it up and it may look good and it may taste good. I'll guarantee you within an hour of eating that, you'll be running to the toilet. Yeah, if that's what you want, great. Personally, I think it defeats the object. You're supposed to be putting calories into your body to fuel your body, to keep you warm and to keep you mobile. If you are having food that is going off, it's going to make you go to the toilet. You're going to be getting rid of energy. It's going to make you feel bad and you could get food poisoning. All of a sudden, your situation is going to go from bad to worse. And let me tell you this, if you haven't got any antibiotics or colloidal silver, you're screwed unless you've got access to a doctor. We're talking years from today, okay? Tea bags. Tea bags will pretty much store indefinitely, keeping away from damp, okay? Coffee, freeze-dried, moreover. I'm not really sure how coffee fares long after its date, if it's been ground and dried, etc. Freeze-dried will last indefinitely, okay? Just keep it away from odors and sunlight. All right. Sugar, salt, and vinegar, brilliant, perfect. Always make sure that you've got them 3 items. Who noticed a massive uplift in the price of salt in the last 2 years? Yeah, you could go and buy like £1 or a kilo of cheap rubbish table salt, and it'll cost you 37p. Yeah, all of a sudden, 6 months after that, it went up to over £1, and the prices have come down a little bit, but not much. So it's more expensive than it was. Luckily, I got what I needed years ago. Salt will last ages, but the biggest enemy for salt is damp. If you've got salt stored in a room that's got any damp in there, that salt is going to absorb that moisture, and it's not going to be as good as it should be. So just be careful. Also, bear in mind, think about what containers you are going to store these foods in. If you're using plastic, that smell is going to leach into the food. Personally, I prefer glass jars. Okay, glass jars, best way to store stuff, in my opinion. Okay, water. Now, if you are going to store water, like I do, I've got an outbuilding, like a brick shed, and I've got 2 pallets on the floor, and I've got bottles of water stored on them pallets. And the reason being is one of my subscribers said to me, if you're storing water and you'll stand there on the concrete floor, say in your garage or your hard stand for your shed, that smell and probably taste of concrete will get inside your water. So yeah, all of a sudden your water bottle is leaching plastics and now concrete. So if you are storing water, my advice is get a good solid water filter or water purification device. If you don't know what water purification devices to get, check out the description box below. There should be a word called LIFESAVER. Go into there. There's discounts, codes, etc. I only recommend those because they make them in the UK. Now, none of that cheap Chinese stuff. If you want to believe that anything's good's coming out of China, it's up to you. Fine. I personally trust stuff that's made in the UK, that's quality. I've thrown it around. It's hardcore, good stuff, and I trust it. It's by a company called LIFESAVER, and there's links below this video to get that. The reason I say that is because you can store water for as long as you want. But if you've got any concerns about anything leaching into it, whether it's rainwater, think about it. Some people, I can't believe it. It's raining. The water's coming off of the roof, going down the downpipe and coming at the bottom. These people are collecting it in containers and drinking it. Wow. What about the germs inside that downpipe? What about the germs on the roof? Do you know what moss is that's on your roof tiles? That comes from bird shit. Yeah. Every time a bird shits on your roof, over time, it turns into moss. So the rain's going to trickle through that, go down that drain pipe, and you're going to drink it. You really need to purify your water. Why do I say this? Like I said, I do things. I've walked the walk. I got Giardia, which is a waterborne parasite from not filtering water correctly. Let me tell you guys, it's bad. 6 weeks, I was out of action. The only way that you're going to survive that, because it can kill, is antibiotics or colloidal silver, but lots of it. Okay. So please make sure that you purify water. Don't take risks. You can store it indefinitely. Make sure you purify it before you go to drink it. Don't get water, purify it and store it for ages and then drink it. No, always purify it just at point of drinking. It's the only way to be sure. Moving along, omega-3 fish. Okay, so basically tins of mackerel, sardines, kippers, that sort of thing. Brilliant. But you've got choices. Okay, sunflower oil, olive oil, spring water, or brine. Okay, personally, olive oil. Why do I choose olive oil? Olive oil protects the fish that's inside the tin. So if your tin is old and very out of date and it starts to rust, that is going to prevent rust getting through to the fish inside. Water, not that good. Vegetable oil, please don't use vegetable oil. Seed oils are proven to really cause you harm. So if you are going to be stocking up on oily fish, make sure it's in olive oil. It will last a hell of a lot longer. It's much better for you. And even if you had to at a pinch, that olive oil in that tin is flammable. You can turn it into a lantern with just a piece of cotton from jeans, like a wick. You put it in there, light it, soak it up, and it'll burn just like a lamp. So you get light, heat, and food from a tiny little tin of mackerel. Make sure it's got olive oil. Don't try the other stuff, okay? Honey, raw honey. Try to get raw honey local if possible, because if you cut yourself and you're worried it's going to get infection, you put raw honey on the cut, sorted. It will kill the bacteria off. It's amazing. And of course, it tastes great and it's good for you inside. Personally, if you're going to be using honey, raw honey, quality local stuff, don't put it in anything hot at all. It will kill off important enzymes and you're not going to get the full benefit. If you're going to have raw honey ingested, make sure that it's not heated or hot. Just have it raw, cold, straight in. You'll get all the benefits, okay? Excellent. Alcohol and smokes, okay? Whether you smoke or not, whether you drink or not, it's always a good idea to have some in stock, because one day they are going to be invaluable. The prices of that and what you're going to be able to swap and trade with cigarettes and alcohol, use your imagination. It's absolutely nuts what you can do with it. One of the most common drinks that people drink, alcohol-wise, will probably be vodka. And one of the common things that people are going to smoke will probably be hand-rolling tobacco. Both of them will store for a long time. And here's another little pro tip if you didn't know. If you did get some tobacco and it's old, it's way old, you open it up and it's all dried up, a little tip, a tiny little piece of potato peel, put it inside the backy pouch, seal it up, leave it overnight. Wake up in the morning, it will be brand new. The moisture will be extracted from the potato peel into the tobacco, making it smoke worthy. Free tip. So peanut butter, we've talked about, okay? Another thing, Christmas puddings, because they are literally full of alcohol, they will last for donkey's years. I remember reading a comment, this guy had a Christmas pudding and it was 6 years past when he bought it and it was absolutely fine. I would absolutely agree with it, because when you look at the contents of a really good quality Christmas pudding with the booze, the brandy in there, etc., that will be totally preserved. It's all airtight sealed. It will be awesome. But again, cool, dry place. Don't keep it near anything warm. Don't anything that's like near a radiator or anything like that. Don't do it. It's not good. Another thing is tinned meat and tinned vegetables. Tinned vegetables will pretty much last forever. It's insane. I remember opening a tin of sweet corn. It was 6 years past when it was supposed to be used. And it's absolutely fine. Nothing wrong with it at all. Nothing wrong with it at all. Tinned meat, you do have to be careful. Personally, things like Spam, bacon grill, lunch meat, that stuff will pretty much last at least 20 years past its use by date. You wouldn't believe it. You actually wouldn't believe it. Things like tinned curries are different. Now, I've been caught out myself. I will open one soon. When I bought it a few years ago, it's like 12 months out of date now. You shake it, it shakes. It sounds like a can of water. But when I bought it, it was thick. It sounds very liquidy now. So the only way to try it is to try it. So at some point, I'm going to open it up, tip the contents into a saucepan, heat it up slowly for a long time. You really got to make sure it's hot. Okay, don't take any chances. Definitely don't eat it cold. The chances are you will get botulism or something like that. It's bad news. Always make sure you heat it thoroughly. Take it from me. So the only way to try it is to try it. And based upon that, do it in a controlled environment. So if you are having to run to the toilet, you're doing it at the weekend, you're not at work. If it goes really bad, make sure you've already got antibiotics. But honestly, guys, I've been there, I've done it, I've tried it. I know what I'm talking about. And I'm trying to tell you, don't fall for some of this disinformation crap that's out there. I'm telling you the truth. So, candles, matches, lighters, and fuel. Always make sure you've got a good stock of those. In the olden days, they always used to be under the sink, under the stairs. Put them wherever you want. But a good tip about matches, make sure that wherever you store that box, if you are storing it together, make sure it's not damp. Because if your matches get damp, they are not going to light. Right, honey? they won't work. They absolutely won't work. All right. So the gas stove, heaters, and bottles. Okay. If the power goes out, because there will be power cuts, and you can't heat your home because you're on a heat pump or something else, all right, or you've got gas central heating, don't forget, gas central heating requires electric for it to work. You get a power cut, you've got no gas central heating. It's going to be cold. Make sure you've got a gas stove or a gas heater or a paraffin heater. They absolutely work like a charm, all right? Look through some of my videos. I've done loads of reviews and how to use off-grid heating, stuff like that. If you look at a playlist, I've done one called Off-Grid Power Solutions. It's a real cheap budget version of the stuff that you can get to make sure you're going to be okay in a pinch. All right. Really good advice in those old videos. A head torch to navigate yourself around a property when the lights go out. Always a good idea. Keep one in your car as well, in your glove box. If you have to get outside the car and you break down on a country lane or whatever it is, you've got hands-free light. You don't have to hold one. You can hold a torch if you want. You can have a head torch. It's entirely up to you. Personally, I use both because options are always good, in my opinion. Batteries. Now, a little tip which I found for myself. I've not seen any of this information anywhere on the internet ever, and that is whatever electrical devices you've got, store the batteries in the wrong way round. That way, the batteries will be in the device and they won't get lost, and they will not corrode. If you choose to store batteries in your device and store it for a long time, it will corrode. And if you don't know what you're doing, you won't be able to get the device working again. Okay. Speaking of things like that, items like this. Okay. You don't need batteries. Look, there's no batteries in there. It's empty. Okay. You can literally hand crank it. So you would just wind it as much as you want to, and it will give you power so you can listen to the radio if there's emergency broadcast, etc. All of these things are, if I can see it, it works. And that's just by cranking it up. Okay, so awesome. Always make sure that you've got emergency stuff like that in your kit. If you're interested in stuff like that, I think there's stuff like it in my Amazon page down below with discounts. You can buy all that stuff there. This one in particular, it's got a solar panel on the back. It's got a hand crank in there. It's got an emergency battery in there, and you can put ordinary batteries in there. You can run it through USB, and you can run it off the mains. So you can run this frigging thing any way, anyhow. Okay, and I think it's just called a Voyager. It's an old one. I've had that for a long time. It's called the Solar Crank KA500 by Kaito. Kaito. If anyone's interested. No, I'm not getting paid to say that. It's just something I bought years ago and it still works. I always like old stuff rather than some of the new stuff. Always make sure you got petrol and diesel. And believe it or not, petrol and diesel store a lot longer than you would think. There's a lot of misinformation about that out there as well. Also, a shout out to Raf. I gave out some information a while back, which has turned out to be incorrect. If you're storing fuel in a jerry can, make sure that you've got some space in the top to allow for expansion. I said to people, fill it all the way up to the top so there's no air in it. And the reason I said that is because that is going to limit the amount of condensation and water getting in there, therefore ruining your fuel. But the correct way, according to our mate who knows his stuff, make sure you've got a bit of air in the top so it expands and contracts when the temperatures are hot or cold. All right. But yeah, make sure that you've got petrol and diesel. It lasts a lot longer than you think, people. I am not joking. Lamp oil. Okay. If you've got hurricane lamps, Tilly lamps, get some lamp oil. The prices are relatively cheap right now. Do what I've done. Get it in bulk. Get 20 1-litre bottles in a box for 50 quid. Job done. You're sorted. Paraffin and a heater, like I said. So that is basically all the advice from bits and pieces I think we should all start stocking up on now. And the reason I say start stocking up now is because things are going to get more and more and more expensive. Okay. If you want to start stocking up next year, it's going to cost you way more than what it would be now. So have a look at what food you've got in the house. Make sure if you are prepping and you've got things sorted, make sure that you go through them and move all of the dates that need to be used up first, move them to the front, rotate your stock. It's one of those things that's a pain in the ass. Sometimes it's hard to actually get to where your food is, and it is a pain, but please make the effort. It's worth it. You will save money, okay? So that makes sure that you don't waste anything, right? And if there's certain foods that you like that you're getting low on, maybe top it up a bit to make sure you've got a good supply. But always make sure that you've got something to purify water, you've got rice, pasta, and anything like sauces. You can either grow your own fruit and veg in your garden. Winter time, if you haven't preserved it, you're going to have to buy it. Passata in cartons from Aldi is a good choice, which I always do. I always get about 20 or 30 at a go, stack them up there. They're going to last 3 years past their use by date, and you can make so many sauces with that. It's awesome. Anyway, I could literally waffle on and on and on about all this stuff because, like I said, I've been doing this 15 years. I know what I'm doing, and all I'm doing is I'm passing on what I've learned to you guys. And I know some of you, like 1,500, are new who have only just subscribed. Okay, so shout out to all the new cats in the house. Really appreciate it. Thank you for the super chats as well. Lady Saractro, I think it is. Thank you, John Platt, gifted a membership and another one. And Flying High, thank you very much for that support. And if you can please support the channel, all of the links are below the video. They're pinned in the top of the comments. So I'm going to pin it in the comment underneath this video outside of the live chat. So if you want to help, it really does help. So you guys take care. I will be keeping my eyes and ears open and sharing with you what I find. Stay tuned for more live streams this week. You guys take care. Thanks for watching and stay funky. Are you going to end?